The following program, offered by Fox 19, includes lawyers licensed in Kentucky. For those lawyers to maintain compliance with the Kentucky Bar Association requirements, the phrase, "This is an advertisement," must appear on the screen. Moore Law is underwritten in the public interest by the Moore Law Firm, a legal professional association. This is Moore Law on Fox 19.
Welcome to Moore Law. These days, a lot of people are struggling with financial problems and maybe considering bankruptcy as a way out. But you need to know the pros and cons of filing for bankruptcy. What type of bankruptcy might be best for your situation? Would you lose your home? Will your credit be ruined? If you have a question about any type of bankruptcy, give us a call at 513-421-4691. Before we go to the phones, though, let's take a look at what is coming up on the dockets in the next few weeks. On April 23rd, it's Ask Us Anything. On April 30th, all about injuries. And on May 7th, we'll be discussing divorce and child custody. Now, of course, joining me today and every Monday, Dawn Moore. How was your weekend?
My weekend was great. How about yours?
Good. A little washout on Saturday, but it made up for it on Sunday.
Yeah, not too bad.
Not too bad.
It's glad that spring has finally sprung.
Finally, absolutely. And today we will be discussing bankruptcy.
Yeah, we will. Today, I'm really excited because this is a good friend of mine that I've known for a long, long time, and he happens to be one of the area's most experienced bankruptcy lawyers. So Rick Nelson is here with us today.
Thanks for coming in, Rick.
Welcome,
well, thank
Rick.
you. My pleasure.
When we talk about bankruptcy, what would you say is the biggest hurdle people have to coming into your office?
Taking the first step. Sometimes they're really just overwhelmed by the problems and they need to look at it in small pieces and understand that what they are really important in their lives are their future and their family, and everything else will fall into place.
It's awfully traumatic, isn't it?
It is traumatic, and I see a lot of people who are embarrassed, concerned, nervous. A lot of these are people who have no other contact with the legal system. They never go to court. They never get in trouble. So it's really a moment frozen in time for them when they do this.
And when you talk about bankruptcy, there are some different kinds that would be for individuals. I believe we have a graphic we can take a look at that shows us the difference between Chapter 7 and Chapter 13 bankruptcy. If you can give us some of the pros and the cons there.
The pros, Chapter 7 is like taking a photograph. It freezes your financial situation in time. You get to keep your post-bankruptcy assets almost without exception. Anything that you earn or receive after you file bankruptcy, you get to keep. That is your fresh start. The con, property is lost. That's something of a misnomer. As a bankruptcy trustee, I see hundreds of cases a year. In maybe 5% or less of the cases does someone actually lose an asset.
It is amazing because I think as an individual, you think that you are going to lose everything. I mean, that's what bankruptcy, I think people, that's what they're conditioned to think.
No, it's not. Bankruptcy is not set up for people to lose things. It's set up for them to get a fresh start.
And that was the original law. That was why it passed, the fresh start for folks.
Exactly.
Okay. Now we want to discuss, you mentioned one thing, that how expensive is it to file for bankruptcy? That
varies. I'm most familiar with Chapter 7, which is where I do most of my practice. The filing fee for that is $306. It is possible to receive a waiver of the filing fee, or even get an installment payment to pay your filing fees.
Okay.
Cost for an attorney, if you choose to use an attorney, can vary. And if you're in a situation in which you are on a limited income, senior citizen perhaps, legal aid can help place you with someone who will charge a minimal fee, if anything.
Okay.
Rick, you just said something that surprises me, and I know that we've got callers waiting. So you can actually, and we'll talk about it in a minute, but you can actually do a bankruptcy without a lawyer. Is that true?
That's true.
Well, maybe you can tell us more about that after we take a call or two.
Okay.
Okay, great. Right now, let's talk to Jerry in Northern Kentucky. Go ahead, Jerry.
I was calling about, I was in a work injury, and I'm off on workman's comp right now, and I filed bankruptcy 13. And now the mortgage company's saying I'm behind a couple payments, and I pay the trustee each week out of my payroll from work. And I didn't know if I could refile bankruptcy Chapter 13 again because I only get 2/3 of my wages.
What might you suggest for him, Rick?
And the great question for you, because you've been working as a trustee for a long time too, haven't you?
I have.
Okay, great. Let's see what we can do for Jerry.
Jerry, are you still in the Chapter 13?
Yes, they have a court date set for me to go to court where the mortgage companies want to, I guess, try to take the house where I couldn't make the payments. They say I'm behind, and I don't see where that happened.
Well, in a Chapter 13 case, there are court costs and fees that are front-loaded and are paid first out of the money you've been paying in. It may just be a timing issue. If necessary, you can have your Chapter 13 plan amended.
Okay, now we have another caller now. I believe we have Roger on the Ohio side of the river. Roger?
Yes. I unfortunately have recent injury in which now I'm on disability. Until then, my credit score was 810. Now I own a motor home that I cannot use and cannot afford and owe approximately $22,000 on. Is it better for me to file a bankruptcy or just let it go back to the bank? And if so, how does that affect my credit?
Good morning, Roger. Credit is subjective, and I don't know that one way or another is any better for you. Letting it go back or filing the bankruptcy. If you're looking to file a Chapter 7 bankruptcy, you can only do that once every 8 years. You might want to wait until you see exactly how things play out with your recovery and your injury. Might be worth to talk to an attorney and get some advice regarding your specific circumstances.
Best of luck with that, Roger. And now, why don't we talk a little bit about, I would think that you would need an attorney to file bankruptcy, but that's not the case?
You don't need an attorney to file bankruptcy. It is not easy to do because the complexity of the bankruptcy schedules and the wording somewhat rival the tax forms and tax instructions. But I have seen people do a very good job filing them on their own and not having an attorney.
And you also mentioned that when somebody comes to your office, very often they never end up seeing the judge, or maybe one time they end up in front of a judge, but it doesn't have to be that way, because we talked about the embarrassment that some folks feel to file bankruptcy.
In a Chapter 7 bankruptcy, when I'm the trustee, I'm usually the only person they see. Probably, over 95%, I'm the person. I don't sit on a bench, I sit at a table. And we talk, and I examine documents, I ask questions. It takes maybe 10 minutes, maybe 5 minutes.
Okay, great. Well, now let's see if we can help out Phyllis in Cincinnati. Go ahead, Phyllis.
Hi. How are you guys this morning?
Good morning.
I had a car accident over 2 years ago, and I made an agreement to pay an insurance company. I was paying them for about a year, and I'm no longer able to pay them, so I was sued in court. So I'm trying to find out if I was able to file bankruptcy and put them on bankruptcy.
Yeah, that's a common question, isn't it?
It is a common question. The answer is yes, you're able to file bankruptcy and put them on the schedules. You also have to list any creditors on the schedules that you file.
All right. Phyllis, we hope that is helpful, and it's time for our first break now. Of course, we are discussing bankruptcy. If you have any questions, give us a call, 513-421-4956. We'll be right back.